Welcome everyone to this Viruk and Jeb Have Fun with Rockets, and today we're going to look at smart parts, specifically the Drainex part, the Drainex 1 fuel sensor and action group trigger. The idea of this part is it will trigger an action group when a particular resource reaches a particular level. It's the first of the smart part triggers that you get if you are in career mode. Now Jeb has built us this natty little craft for the purposes of this demo. So let's take one of these Drainex parts and just attach it to the side of this solid fuel booster. Now if we right click that smart part, we'll get the right click menu up, the context menu up, and this allows you first to pick the action group that you would like to trigger. In this case it is the staging action group, but you can click the arrows to select any of the standard action groups. There's the numbered action groups, and you can also do the lights, RCS, SAS, brakes and the abort action group. But we'll use the staging action group because we would like to trigger a staging function when the attached resource reaches a certain level. Now in this case we only have the one resource, the solid fuel resource, so you can't select anything else, and this will normally default to the resource that you are likely to need, so bear that in mind, but we'll come back to that in a few seconds. Next you can select the percentage of fuel that you would like to be remaining when the action group is triggered. Now in this case we want to stage when the percentage of fuel gets to 0, and we will come back to that in a moment as well. And you can also select whether detection is enabled or disabled using this function. Now that might not look particularly useful initially, but you could use it to create a chain reaction of smart parts, only enabling one smart part when another smart part is triggered. So simply make that part of the action group. So that's the staging for the Flea solid fuel booster sorted out. But now let's have a look at this second stage, the liquid fuel stage. Now notice I've got two tanks, and that's going to be quite important because the Drainex 1 triggers based on the amount of fuel in the tank to which it is attached, and there are two tanks here, and we want it to trigger when the last of the tanks will drain from top to bottom, so when this tank reaches 0. So we would like it to stage when the liquid fuel or the oxidizer, so we can choose liquid fuel or oxidizer, we'll choose liquid fuel, when the percentage of liquid fuel reaches 0, and again we will leave it enabled. So that's fuel sorted out, but there are other uses for the Drainex 1. So for example, we can attach it to a battery. So let's just attach it to this battery here at the top. And what we can do here is we could trigger action group 1 when the resource electric charge reaches 50%, let's say. So what we could do here, if we go to action group number 1, custom number 1, is we could switch off our lights and any other electrical equipment when the amount of electrical charge reached 50%. So you might want to do this to switch off non-essential equipment on your space station if you were running out of power. So bear that in mind as a handy use for the Drainex 1. So let's go out and launch this craft and just see these bottom two Drainex devices being smart. See you in a second. Jeb is in the cockpit out here on the platform. We have our staging already set up, so there's the solid fuel booster followed by the LV909. Now for the purposes of this test we are just going to go straight up, so we'll put the SAS on, we'll set the throttle to maximum, and I will hit stage to launch the vessel. But after this I'm going to let the Drainex devices do their thing. So as solid fuel runs out, the solid fuel booster will stage. Now if we check fuel level in the first of the FLT 100 tanks. We can watch that running out. There you go. So it's coming down now about 50%. Liquid fuel and oxidizer running out together. Liquid fuel about to reach 0. But this is on the first tank, so we still have half of our total fuel remaining. So the Drainex didn't fire at that point. But if we now right-click the second, the lower of those tanks, we can see the fuel draining from that bottom tank. We still have about a quarter left, so we can see from the staging diagram on the bottom left. Liquid fuel is about to run out. And without further assistance from Jeb, there goes the second stage. Now, I don't think we're going to have much problems seeing where we are going, but the principle is exactly the same for the electric charge in this rechargeable battery. It will trigger when the electric charge reaches 50%, I should say, and it will trigger our action group 1. Now, all we have to worry about is getting Jeb back down to the ground. So I hope that helped you use these very smart parts, in this case the Drainex one, and I look forward to seeing you in another video where Viruk and Jeb have fun with rockets. See you then. Bye bye.